Oh, I'm live. Hi. Hi, everybody. Coming to you live again for my little therapist insights, reflections, prompts, thought provoking ideas. I had something I want to talk about today that continues to come up in my work, in other clinicians' work that I supervise. And it's this idea of vulnerability. And I'm sure we're all so sick of hearing the word vulnerability and that you have to be vulnerable and you should be vulnerable and all of those things. But in reality, vulnerability is very important to deep connection. And what I see a lot is this idea that we are being vulnerable when we're actually not. So, this idea of perceived vulnerability versus actual vulnerability. And I want to share a personal example of mine where I didn't realize that I actually was not being vulnerable. I had come off a breakup in my early 30s. I was out in the world dating. I thought I was really open. I told myself, like, I really want to meet somebody. And I was doing all of the things to meet somebody. I said that I wanted it. I was out there dating. Um, I thought I was being open. I thought I was being vulnerable. And then I will never forget. It's one of those moments that are just so ingrained where you can remember exactly where you were, what you were wearing, the time of day, all of the things. And I remember somebody saying to me, somebody that I had like been hanging out with and spending time with, saying to me, they said, "Beth, you think you are so open, but you are the most closed off person I know." And that really stopped me in my tracks. And it stays with me until this day because, like I said, I really thought I was being open. I really thought I was being vulnerable. And I see this show up a lot, particularly in the dating relationship space where there is a deep desire to meet somebody, there is a deep desire to have a relationship, but what we believe we are doing is very different than what we are actually doing. So again, perceived vulnerability, thinking that we are being vulnerable, thinking that we are being open, and really we're not. And on the receiving end of that, the person on the receiving end of our perceived vulnerability probably has no idea what we're thinking, no idea what we're feeling, no idea what we want. So I'm sharing all this to share that we still have our fears, we still have our insecurities, we still have our protective mechanisms, and that being vulnerable is a very uncomfortable thing. And so our version of vulnerability might not actually be it. Our version of vulnerability might actually be a version of openness that still keeps us safe. So I'm encouraging all of you to think about your idea of vulnerability, whether or not you think you are actually being vulnerable. Um, and that can be a hard thing to assess, but I would start looking around at your relationships and measuring like the closeness, the security, the safety, how you feel in them, how you feel when you go on dates. Is there enough space and safety there for you to be more open, or do you find yourself sharing sort of top line things, maybe just surface level things, talking about work, not really sharing more deeply about who you are, what you want, what you believe in, what you feel? I think a lot of us walk around with these protective mechanisms, with these ways of not really revealing ourselves, not really showing who we are, not really saying exactly what we want. I've worked with so many clients, and myself included. I did this. I kind of played this cool girl um, role where I was just like, go with the flow, cool with anything. But it was really a self abandonment. It was really not truly aligned with what I felt. It did not give any clarity to what I wanted, what my expectations were, what my standards were. It was not vulnerable at all. And I did that to keep myself safe. I did that to not be rejected. I did that to not be not chosen. There's all different reasons why we shy away from vulnerability. Um, and again, this is really a prompt and an exercise to think about, do I think I'm being vulnerable, but am I actually being vulnerable? And vulnerability, true vulnerability, should reveal what is true to you, what is authentic to you, what you actually want, what you actually desire, what you actually feel, not a kind of watered down version of those things. And I think our inclination sometimes when we think about vulnerability or being vulnerable is you kind of just give enough. You kind of just give enough to not to not give too much away. You give enough that feels safe enough to do, but isn't really the full picture. Um, Again, it does not create true authentic connection. A lot of times it creates confusion and lack of clarity. And then we wonder why. And I did too when I was dating, like, why didn't anything work out? Why didn't anybody choose me? I don't think anyone really truly, until I met Rob and was in a way different place with myself after a lot of time and reflection and a lot more security and self love, did anyone truly know who I was? So I wouldn't want them picking that version of me anyway because it wasn't my truest version. And when I met Rob, I was truly myself because I didn't have any narratives around being the cool girl. If I was a cool girl, they'll like me. I was just, if he likes me, he likes me. This is the version I'm giving. And I think it was the first time, probably in my dating history in my 30s when I was dating, that I was truly, truly vulnerable. So if you're someone that is struggling with connection, struggling in dating, feeling frustrated that things are not working out or you're not really meeting anyone, this is an area to look at, is to look at vulnerability, look at perceived vulnerability versus actual vulnerability. Are you really being open? And if you're not, what are the barriers? What are the narratives? What are the things that you're saying to yourself? We all hold really strong narratives that keep us from being open and opening ourselves up. And that could be, if I share this, they won't like me. If they share this, I think they'll think I'm too needy. If I share this, they'll run away. So those are things to look at too. What are the narratives that keep you from being fully, fully vulnerable? So, one, look at the area of vulnerability in your life, perceived versus actual. Are you actually being vulnerable, or do you think that you're being vulnerable? Are you only giving enough away that still keeps you safe and protects you? And then if so, why? What are the narratives? What are the things that you're saying to yourself about being vulnerable, about truly being vulnerable? What will happen? Hope you guys are enjoying these lives. Again, I'm trying to get on here every week. We have a lot of big things coming up, so stay tuned. Many opportunities to work with me if you want. We're going to be sharing those on Instagram, but I'll quickly share them here. If you are interested in any one-on-one coaching in terms of like timeline anxiety, societal pressures, not quite being where you want to be yet, I am here for that. I have lived it. I have worked with so many women in therapy through these sort of narratives of feeling behind and running out of time. If you're a therapist looking to level up your business or start a private practice, I am coaching so many incredible therapists on that now, and I love doing that work. I also have an incredible offering starting next week, which is a 6-week deep dive into all things like timeline anxiety, societal pressure, dating, friendship, fertility, all of the things. So check us out on Instagram, Quiet the Clock Pod. We're going to have all the offerings there. And I hope you're enjoying these little therapy, thought provoking mini talks.